It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and as luck would have it, it's 5 o'clock Mountain Time. So it's time for Tom and Shane, business and politics today. We're going to talk about the Biden crime family, the DOJ, the FBI. I don't know, Shane. It just keeps getting more fun to do these things as they come up. You know, I guess the big question is there a Biden crime family operating in the United States of America, Shane?
Well, the media says there is.
Huh.
I mean, I'd only go on articles I've read and interviews that I've seen and people I've listened to that were witnesses. I think the big snake in the pit right now is this whistleblower that's come forward
Yeah.
with documentation in the last several weeks, 3 or 4 weeks now. We've mentioned it a couple of times. The difficulty is that I just find it so amazing. Two things. Number one, we're having this conversation with a man in the White House and his son, and talking about it. You know, because of this divorce situation in Arkansas, with his, as you say, love child, and supposedly having
he wasn't married to her in
no,
Arkansas.
well, yeah, and
It's not a
having to
divorce.
sleep on a cot when he went to Ireland with his dad. Right. Like, I mean, the dad's in the presidential suite. I've been in presidential suites. Okay. Now, the ensuite bathroom to the bedroom is like 20 by 40 feet.
Yeah.
And there's a dining room, you know, that's 40 by 20 feet. There's a living room that's 50 by 50 feet. And it's got double couches. And worst case scenario, he slept on a couch. I don't believe. But at the other end of presidential suite, there's two doors leading to two separate bedrooms, and one has a king size bed and one has two queen size beds. And you know, I always had a suite with a door with two double beds or queen size beds, so the girls each had a bed, and then you know we of course slept in there, and so they shared a bathroom, and there's a bathroom. You know, they're in.
I hope so. I hope a presidential
in the living room. There's a bathroom.
There's a bathroom in the living room.
None of this makes sense. Number one. Number two.
Well, the reason Hunter was there is because Jill couldn't go. So
there's no reason for him to be there.
Well, there is because Biden has to have someone to guide him around where, you know, stand here, Dad, go over there, Dad, talk to this guy, Dad. That's why he was there, because Jill wasn't there to do that.
Well, if it's that bad, then maybe that's why I was there.
Well, it is.
The second thing is that we're having this conversation because of leaks, you know, apparently from his lawyers or the people around the White House or someone, that his lawyers were in Washington with the Department of Justice discussing a plea bargain, or you know how they could settle the gun issue and his tax issue. That's what the two apparent things are. But on top of that, it's been going on for years. I mean,
oh yeah, well, that's what's coming to light right now. The Biden thing is going to be taken care of separately from what the whistleblower is going to do. Apparently, the FBI has a form 1023 that documents information that the FBI obtains from sources or meetings with sources, and can include unverified information. So there could be a possibility that this whistleblower is just crap.
That's right. We were covering Form 23s back during the Trump administration, and the head of the FBI apparently never filmed out a Form 23 of his interview with the president.
Yeah.
You know, when but he kept notes. He went out and made notes to himself, which he ended up giving to someone who gave it to a New York journalist or New York Times journalist. I mean, so the side games, the bingo games, the hypocrisy, whatever word, adage, or you know that you want to use, you identify as corrupt, probably, we know of the contracts his brothers have in different countries. One in Iraq, one in where was the earthquake down in the Caribbean that was devastating. You know, they have contracts with multinational cell phone companies and contracting companies, and then all the things we know from the, you know, his son's laptop. So you look at all of this as a person and not even a one that's gone to law school, but you listen to the lawyers that have, and they all say that he should be charged. He should have been charged years ago.
Yeah. Well, Grassley, Chuck Grassley, and the other guy, James Comer of Republic of Kentucky, and Grassley, I believe, is Iowa.
Yes, he is.
They quote, "We have received legally protected and highly credible unclassified whistleblower disclosures, and that they let Merrick Garland, thank God he's not on the Supreme Court, and Christopher Wray, head of the FBI, and it would be nice if he was gone too. But anyway, those two have been alerted that they want this document. They've subpoenaed it. The president,
it's an email. Yeah, it's an email document.
Yeah,
and they've gotten it from the whistleblower, so they want both of those people, the Attorney General and of course Biden and his son, to deny it. Either deny it or provide it. If you're not going to deny it, then the one the whistleblower has is real.
Well, there is one thing that Biden could technically classify it. It's unclassified at the moment, according to Chuck Grassley. But he says that, the president's got the power to classify it if he wants to.
Well, with everything that's going on, why doesn't his dad just pardon him and get it over with? Like, just give him a full pardon and get it over.
We're not talking about Hunter. We're talking about Joe Biden, the president.
I understand that, but if he pardoned his son, it would all go away. Everything.
Well, his son hadn't been. There's nothing to pardon him for yet. He hadn't been he hadn't had a trial. He hadn't been convicted of a crime. You can't just blanket say.
I realize that, but Ford did the same thing with Nixon and lost to the election to Carter.
Yeah, but Nixon was charged with a crime.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's got to be a charge before you can pardon. I'm just saying. Just for the benefit of our viewers and listeners.
Cool. All I know is I have to take the position from what I've read, what I've seen, what I've heard from professionals, lawyers, people in somewhat of the know, so to speak. The tip-offs, witnesses. I mean, the list of the whys is pretty big. Okay, now there's a tiny little side to that list. Is why nots, and there's not a lot of why nots there, right?
Well, I don't know, but anyway, this apparently all this happened when Biden was vice president under the no scandal Barack Obama legislature or presidency, I should say, not the legislature, but yeah, apparently Biden met with a international figure and provided help to that figure for money, and that's what that's supposed what the FBI says.
Yeah, no one thing we haven't heard anyone say, which is strange to me, because we know what the Clintons did, and I believe it with their foundation, the money they raised, it was real, hundreds of millions of dollars. No reason to believe the Obamas may not have. There's nobody said anything. There's nobody that's come forward or anything. So I'm just saying that his vice president was in the office, and they may not have gotten along, but they met, and he did designate him to deal with these countries like Ukraine and Uzbekistan and Eastern Europe, Romania. So if Obama didn't know about it, he's as derelict as Biden is guilty.
Yeah. Bruce says charges against Hunter Biden, taxes, and gun for one.
Yeah, the handgun issue is a 20-year in prison violation instantly, and that's a no case scenario on the defense because it's mentioned again in his own words on his laptop and told the story, and they found the gun and his fingerprints were on it and never registered, and lied that when asked if he had a drug issue, he said no. And so there's this list again of here's the list over here of whys, and then here's the list over here of why nots.
Yeah. Well, we'll see here. If I don't know how long it takes a subpoena to the FBI to get this document, whether it'll be months or years from now. The FBI's had the laptop for forever. I mean, Microsoft's had 17 upgrades since the FBI got that laptop.
So the question everybody wants answered, and both of us can give our own opinion. Will they indict him and will he be charged? And I say no. They just won't do it. What's your thought?
Well, in the Biden case, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a lot of supposition. I would bet this document doesn't definitively prove anything. I mean, you've already got a whole bunch of testimony from Biden's associates. You got a whole bunch of pictures of him with these people, Burisma and others around the world with Hunter and, these guys. And, after these meetings, things happen. But, it's, was it
Chinese banking records? I mean, that's that's a smoking gun. Isn't that what you call it down there in legal terms?
Well, I would think so. But there again, how, it's two things. One is what's the evidence, and two, will anybody bring a charge? That's where Hunter's sitting right now. The stripper in Arkansas that has his love child is bringing charges, and the judge says, "I want you here. I want you to prove, that you're claiming poverty. I want to see the facts." And so he's been down there, and also he's been hiding out in the White House so that he won't be served by a process server to appear in court.
That's right. They can't enter. They cannot enter executive, legislative, or court houses with a search warrant or a warrant of arrest. That they can't. No federal officer can do that. They can't even have someone serve them. Well, they can have them served, but they can't arrest them. So it's one of those interesting rules because I don't remember the name of it, but it goes along with the right for congressmen and senators to lie on the floor and when they're speaking, they're not responsible or accountable for the untruths they tell.
Yeah, I don't believe any process server is going to get to Hunter in the White House and serve him. No. So that ain't going to happen.
And I don't think he walks in and out. I think he comes and goes by vehicle or helicopter, right?
Well, I don't know. It depends.
Marine One carries them around regularly.
I guess it depends on what we're willing to pay for.
Well, you never know. I mean, it's just added on the tab.
I know. I'm just making noise.
But you're just making
noise. That's all I'm doing. So, well, anyway, Comer says the American people need to know if President Biden sold out the U.S. and made money for himself in the process. So that's supposedly what that 1023 document says. But until they get it, they haven't seen it officially yet, from what I understand, in interviews with both Comer and Grassley. So I don't know if they've.
We don't. It's one of these. Will we wait to hear? And I say no.
No. Well, one of the things they could be waiting for is make sure that protections of the whistleblower are in place. You remember Adam Schiff had a whistleblower too that was going to blow Trump out of the water, and that guy never materialized and was a figment of I think it was Schiff's imaginary friend when he was a kid.
Well, he had a lot of those because
Mhm.
he sat and made up accusations in the
Yeah,
hearing about his president that were completely unfounded and basically lies because he
yeah,
can.
and in
But the media picks it
private
up.
hearings too, by the way.
What's that?
Private hearings, by the way.
Supposedly.
Yeah, well, they weren't open to the public. They were sealed. They were closed
Well, and
hearings.
remember at the time they were in a skiff in the basement of the Capitol, and
Yeah, that's what I
they wouldn't
said.
even let Republicans into it. It was just Democrats in the committee
Well,
room.
they were out now. The Democrats outnumbered the Republicans, so they had no vote, no say,
Well, of course
nothing.
that's the system, but
Well, yeah.
in those hearings,
Mhm.
they wouldn't even let them in. A couple of Republicans finally pushed themselves
Mhm.
into the hearings,
Yeah.
past the
Mhm.
police and the Capitol Police, but it's all a circus,
Mhm.
and there's more than
Yeah.
three rings. It's not a two-party circus. It's
Well, and
there's a
yeah.
family center ring with your president
Mhm.
as the the whip master of the whole thing, and
Mhm.
then you got the elephants in another ring and the donkeys in another ring. So
Yeah. Well,
it's a full on circus, baby.
yeah. Well, it'll be interesting if a lot of innuendos against Trump may have cost him the election. He never went to trial, never went to court, never was deposed or whatever. And so I'm wondering if the same thing might happen to Biden. And
Well, of course,
we're
this goes back to
Mhm,
uh, goes back to the Clintons in the 24-hour news
mhm,
cycle. Just lie
yeah,
because to try and disprove your lie or denial
mhm,
will
mhm,
continue to take longer for the 20 the 24, 48, 72-hour news cycle to go.
yeah,
So in three or
it
four
will.
days, it's dead, and they can keep calling you a liar till
Hmm.
you leave office, but it doesn't mean anything. But
There
he
you
got
go.
caught,
Hmm.
and we'll see and he didn't resign. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens here with this issue.
yes,
Uh,
that could be. Yeah.
it's my final thought about it is that it's a pretty uh, difficult reality to appreciate the power and structure of your
Mhm.
government, um, the world as we know it, and this is sadly what we're dealing with. There's just so much to deal with.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd agree. In my final thoughts, I would say if any president is guilty of selling favors, to enrich himself or herself, depending on who it is, um, string them up. I want them out of office. I want them in jail. I don't care if it's a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or who it is.
Yeah, because
So,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but real quick,
mhm,
two examples: the bipartisanship in your legislature,
mhm,
House and Senate, are supporting Ukraine. If it was up to Biden, he wouldn't.
mhm, yeah,
We know that from the 8 years in Obama, because this war is in its 14th year. So 12 years under Obama,
mhm,
and then into Trump. Trump tried to help him, but because he was trying to help the Ukraine, it wasn't
mhm.
partisan. It was partisan, and they said, the House and the Senate said no. So
There you,
he did
yeah,
what he could as executive.
yeah.
And so with China, the only comment I have with China is we all know the stories, but the smoking gun was 3 weeks ago. They sent to your House people, committees, the Biden banking records for both the father and the son. So they couldn't get them from the Treasury Department, but they
Yeah.
got them from China. So
Well, we'll find out how that goes. By the way, for the benefit of some of you, when Shane says your country, Shane's in Canada.
yeah, yeah, I'm a,
Shane's a Canadian citizen up there, where he's handcuffed by what he can say and can't say.
be careful. I have
Because
to be very
yeah,
careful.
you'll go to jail if you use the wrong pronoun or the
That's
wrong whatever. So yeah, it's not a free country in Canada anymore. So we're glad to have him here with
Yeah,
us.
when
So
free speech knocked at the door, no one answered.
that's for sure. Amen to that. So, well, yeah, I these things have come up before, Shane. We've seen them for years. We've talked about them for the last 20 years on the air. I really don't see this whistleblower going anywhere with Biden. I think it's all. I wish if it were accurate, then man, go after him. But I think there's, for the FBI to leave stuff laying around like that just doesn't compute with the FBI that you have now with Merrick Garland running the DOJ, Christopher Wray. These guys are solidly in the Democratic camp. Just what the laptop went down a black hole when it went to the FBI. Nobody even knows. Nobody even knows where it is. Thankfully, the New York Post kept a copy of what was on it. So at least, otherwise, the FBI would have just said, "No, we lost it. We don't know where it is." And, so that's my final harangue on it. The worst case scenario, Hunter will pay some child support and somebody else will pay it for him.
That's a whole different story. But
yeah,
time for your happy rant, and my wish that people that watch us take the time to do so. I thank you, and would ask that you subscribe. That would help us greatly, certainly with YouTube, and we appreciate being able to have the opportunity to share these great thoughts with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down with that. Also, hey, don't forget, we're not just on YouTube, we're on radio, and you can hear us anywhere in the known universe as long as you've got a internet connection. We are in your living room, in your bathroom, in your shower, wherever you happen to be. Every Saturday, 8 to 11 Mountain Time. Listen live at kmmsam.com. Nothing to join, no signups, no personal information needed. We don't even want to know who you are. We don't care because we're gonna say what we're gonna say anyway. So, but you can text us, you can call us on the phone. We're from wherever you are in the world. kmmsam.com. And our past shows are there too. We record everything because we know you fact check us. So we record everything just to be sure that what we said back in 2020 is right. kmmsam.com. Also click on Tom and Shane's podcast. So that will get you over there, and you will enjoy it so much listening to us on the air. Our callers are very entertaining. They're very knowledgeable, and they also give Shane a hard time. So there you are.
Yeah, they're actually harder than Tom, and you've seen how hard Tom can be. So
I know.
You probably enjoy it.
This is bad.
I get a giggle.
Yeah, this is bad. All right. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell. You'll always be notified when we're on, no matter what time zone you're in. Like us, leave a comment. Let us know the type of information you'd like for us to talk about and cover on this program. And we hope that you'll become a regular. And we will see you on our next podcast, which will be Tuesday of next week, Tuesday and Thursday, 5 o'clock Mountain Time. And we want to thank you very much for watching. And we'll talk to you on the radio on Saturday.